Welcome to the Happy Mama Movement podcast. I'm Amy Taylor-Kabbaz, mama, journalist, coach, and founder of Mama Rising. This podcast is a space of community and collaboration. We gather stories of matrescence, motherhood, womanhood, and change told by our Mama Rising coaches and mothers around the globe, in the knowing that through our stories, we can begin to heal and change the way the world sees, values, and supports mothers everywhere. So, welcome to the Happy Mama Movement. Welcome back, everybody. I want to start this week's podcast by reading to you a quote from Margaret Mead. Never underestimate the power of a small group of committed people to change the world. In fact, it is the only thing that ever has. It makes me emotional reading that because you're about to hear an interview with an incredible mama and woman who has done just that, made a commitment to make motherhood less isolating, to break down the walls of silence that we are surrounded by in our experiences of matrescence and motherhood. And over the last 8 years has gathered more than 5,000 mothers around Ireland at 150 events, including during COVID, and really started to show what happens when we connect and we support and we feel seen and valued as mothers. Lucy Edge is the co-founder of mum networking community Mum Talks, and like I said, is a Mama Rising coach based in Ireland and has been gathering mothers at these events for years. What you'll hear is her own experience of isolation and how her best friend, Cara, and her decided to create this event network business and now are rolling it out around Ireland, and I think perhaps one day the world. Enjoy, and please let Lucy and I know what you thought of the interview and what inspires you to make that change in your community, because that's what mamas really need. Hello, beautiful Lucy. Welcome to the Happy Mama Movement podcast.
Thank you, Amy. I'm very, very happy to be here.
We've already had a couple of teary moments before we've even hit record. It's been a while since I've spoken with you, and to have this opportunity to bring you onto the podcast and share with the world what you have been doing and your journey to gathering mothers is so incredibly exciting. I'm so glad we could do this.
Thank you. It just feels incredible to be speaking with you after setting up Mum Talks and doing the Mama Rising training. It's incredible.
Oh, it just makes me teary every time. So let's, as always, go back to the beginning. Share with the mamas your experience of becoming a mother and entering matrescence.
Yeah. So I became a mum 15 years ago for the first time, and I suppose I've been kind of reflecting on my matrescence before we spoke, and it's, I suppose, the first moment was when I found out I was pregnant, and that was a massive shock. I was in a new-ish relationship, and it wasn't planned, but I was excited. I was excited when it happened. We were both very, very excited, and then I gave birth to my beautiful daughter, and it was a shock. I think shock is the word I would use to describe it, because it really was not what I was expecting. And I suppose that was my first kind of experience of expectation not matching my reality. I suppose my mum is an incredible mother and absolutely adores babies and has always adored babies and is always talking about babies and attracted to babies. And I just felt that that was going to be my reaction when I met my baby. And it wasn't. It was, I mean, I loved her because she was mine and she'd come from me, but I didn't feel, I suppose, that bond that I kind of had expected. So that was my first kind of like, and I was exhausted, and I was, yeah, it was really, really hard. And I was the first of all my friends to have a baby, and so I didn't have the chats with the friends, and didn't have the older sister. It was just what my mum's experience was, and she had had an amazing experience. So that was my kind of my first introduction into it. And then I suppose another stage of my matrescence was when I separated from my daughter's dad when she was 3. So I then had to navigate that. And then and then when my daughter was 7, that's when I sat down with my friend, and we were both. My friend had her daughter. She was 5, and it felt like it was the first time I actually spoke to another mom and talked about how hard I felt motherhood was. And this was my best friend. Like, this was my best friend since primary school. But I suppose when we were both in the thick of it, and she then opened up about her kind of IVF experience and how hard she had struggled with that. And I was like, I can't believe I'm, hearing about this. And it was just, it was a real eye-opener evening for us. And that's when we both kind of decided, okay, hold on a second. We can't keep quiet about this. We can't be having these conversations now. This needs to be happening preferably before we have our babies, and certainly when our babies are little. So yeah, I suppose that was kind of my early matrescence journey, and then started mum talks, and then fell in love with the man of my dreams, and ended up getting married, and having my second boy, or my second child, Charlie. And I suppose it was navigating that kind of part of matrescence and that transition of starting a new relationship, while, obviously with my daughter. And so that was huge as well. But again, felt like it was very much kind of shrouded in secrecy, and kind of this whole mentality of, oh yeah, I can do this. This is totally fine. I'm so happy, and everything's working out great for me. But it was a struggle as well. And it's and I suppose that's kind of been the kind of continuation of, or the kind of pattern throughout my matrescence, is that it's been hard, and I probably didn't speak about it and as much as I should have done, and I didn't reach out for help. But boy, oh boy, when I had my second, and I'm so blessed to have my second 10 years after my first, and I'd been running mum talks for about 2 years, and I was ready. I had the postpartum plan. I had the, this is the way we're doing it. If we're going to do this, this is the way we're doing it. And, with my first, I bought a buggy for like €1,000. For my second, it was, okay, thank you very much. I will take that secondhand buggy, and I'll put that €1,000 towards a night nurse. So it was a very different matrescence when I was a new mom again. So I felt very kind of privileged and lucky to have that experience also.
Oh, I love the thread that I can see in your story of this isolation, this silence, this shroud of secrecy around the experience of becoming a mama, whether it was your first one with your daughter or doing it again with a new partner while still trying to make sure that your daughter's okay and having your son. It's so interesting that you say that even with your best friend from primary school, it wasn't until your daughter was 7 and her child was 5 that you finally had that conversation that night. When I
Yeah.
think back about my own experience, it was so similar as well. There was hardly anybody in my life who I spoke to about this experience until years later. I know over the last 8 years you've been gathering mamas now and talking about these things that are often silent. Do you have any reflections on why we do this? Why we won't even we don't even want to share with our best friend, or we feel like we can't?
I think from my point of view, it was this feeling of perfectionism. Is this curse of being a perfectionist, which I think a lot of people are, and a lot of women are. And I suppose we had spent so many years, trying to be the perfect kind of career woman, and living up to all these expectations and doing everything by the book and doing everything perfectly. And if we study hard enough, we'll get the grades, we'll be able to go to college, and we'll be able to get the good career. If we work hard enough, we'll get the promotion, we'll get the pay rise, we can get the nice house, we can get the nice car. It's always just striving. And if you work hard, you will see the results and you will get the results. So when I felt like I was failing at motherhood, then it was embarrassing. It was like,
And
no,
it was your
I
fault.
yeah, this is all me. I didn't work hard enough. I didn't study hard enough. I didn't prepare hard enough. It was all me. And it was just, I was ashamed. And, but it wasn't until years later, and, when I did the Mama Rising training, that I realized that that's what it was. But at the time, it was just, no, I have failed at this. I have no right to talk to other mothers and share my experience, because I'm just not very good at this. And if I was good at being a woman, and then I would be better at this. Or
Oh,
if I was
wow.
I would be good at this. Yeah. So it was really, really hard. And and I suppose then you've got that combined with then going back to work, and then trying to go back and try and be that woman that you were before you left to have your baby, and trying to then again prove yourself that you are worthy to be there at your desk and doing your job, and you've got nothing else going on in the background. And so you don't really have time to sit and reflect with your girlfriends and kind of talk about what's going on, because we were all just in the thick of it. We're in the trenches. We're just trying to get by. We're just trying to um, we're just trying to get by and just trying to keep going and trying to do the best that we can, while beating ourselves up, and that inner mean mama voice just going, you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Not
Thank you
good.
for your honesty and vulnerability in that. That actually brought back a real reaction in my body of that feeling of, if you were a good woman, if you were, you would be good at this. Especially, I think, if you had a mother who seemed to just nail this, just come naturally. It would be interesting to see whether she, how she really felt about it underneath.
Mm.
And I wonder if we could also acknowledge that you would have had in there another layer, I'm sure, of I'm failing at this, I'm not good at this, when the relationship with your daughter's father fell apart. And so that silences us again as well. If I was a good mother, I would have been able to make this work. If I was a good mother, I would have done anything to keep this together. Like, those types of stories are also silenced in our experience, right?
Completely. And that was, I would consider that a massive part of my matrescence, was trying to navigate, being a single mom and co-parenting. And again, not reaching out and saying to my co-parent, I don't really know what's happening. I'm really scared. I'm really afraid. I'm feel like I'm messing up. But no, I felt like I had to put on this kind of persona of like, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know how to handle this, to the rest of the world. And it was just, again, I wish I could have been a little bit more vulnerable at that time, and just been like, nope, I don't know. I don't know how to do this. I need help. But again, I think, it comes back to how I was programmed, and,
Yeah.
the culture and society, and, as women, how we feel we should be, as opposed to the reality of it. And that's really where Mum Talks came from. So this friend that I was having this drink with, Cara, who's been my best friend since primary school, and we were just saying, no, we need to start talking about this, and there must be other mums and women that feel the same way. And also, we'd felt that, during, when our babies were small and when we were on maternity leave, there are great events and activities that are kind of focused on the baby, which are brilliant and great for the baby's development and a great way of meeting other parents. But naturally, the focus is on the baby. And also, both of us would, talk about the baby swimming. And when you're all wet and got a wriggly baby, it's not really the time to be saying, I'm also struggling and I'm feeling like crap. So it was, we just thought, no, we want to bring this and more mom focused and, in a lovely, beautiful, safe environment, cozy, kind of nice, and in it maybe a nice hotel or a nice restaurant, bring moms together, give them a lovely breakfast, plenty of hot tea and coffee, and bring women together. And babies are always welcome as well. Or if you want to leave the baby at home, that's cool too. Absolutely zero judgment. Like it's just a judgment-free place. And then we would also encourage moms to come by themselves or come with a group of friends. And the idea is that we've always had speakers at our events. So we usually have 3 speakers because we kind of feel like 3 is a nice number. Each speaker can speak for 15 minutes. So it's not too heavy, but you get a little kind of glimpse into either their experience of motherhood or the work that they do to support women. And the 3 speakers, they will always be focusing on the mother, on, what's going on for her. So then naturally the conversation is about us. So you then turn to the mama next to you and you're like, I kind of relate to that. Do you relate to that? Or, I'm feeling that. Are you feeling that? Or, oh, that's not really for me. But actually the next speaker, what she was saying, that's for me. So the kind of, it's, there'll always be something that you can get from a Mum Talks. And we've been so blessed with the most incredible speakers who are so passionate about supporting women and mums, because I think as well as a new mum, as well as the kind of loneliness, the feeling of loneliness and isolation, because it's very difficult to get out of the house or you're just too exhausted or just don't have the energy to get. There's also, you maybe don't even know what support you need. Like I wouldn't have known I should maybe go and see a woman's physiotherapist, or I didn't know that, what exactly a night nurse did. And, how could a night nurse work if I was breastfeeding, or, I didn't, like, all these different things that you don't even know are out there. And we just thought it was great to get all these women to come and give these talks to the mamas. So it was like giving them a really lovely morning, giving them some information, empowering them, making them kind of feel like hopefully leaving going, okay, I've learned something from this today, and kind of inspiring them that, there's other moms. So we'd also have moms maybe that would just talk about their experience of motherhood. And then 4 years after starting Mum Talks, I realized we were getting moms to come and talk about their matrescence, because I hadn't heard of the word matrescence when we first started. So it was, it's been great.
Lucy, it's just incredible. I actually, no exaggeration, everybody started to cry and was covered in goosebumps before we hit record when I asked Lucy to share some statistics on the impact that you've had. Over the last 8 years, you've had over 5,000 mums at your events, and you've run 150 events. Oh, done it again. I've got goosebumps and tears filling my eyes. What I love about your vision with this is Mum Talks is like TED Talks. It's brief insights, like you said, summaries of ideas and concepts and insights into the experience of being a mother. But it's about her. And I know after listening to thousands of mums myself over the last decade, one of the biggest struggles that women have in those early years is that all the conversations that she's having in her life are about how the baby's going. The mother-in-law's checking in, the mother's checking in, the partner comes home from work and she's been inside all day with this baby. And the first thing is like, how was your day? What did you do? It's about how the baby's going and what's happening. And like you said, they're important conversations, but she needs a place where she is a woman first and a mother exploring what that means to be a mother. And that's what you're doing with all of these speakers, is that you're centering her identity. Oh, gives me goosebumps, chills all over whenever I say that. You're centering her identity, and it's just one of the key things that we've missed in the world of supporting new mothers is we have to give her a space where she can explore what it means for her.
Yeah. And I mean, and that is a lot, that tends to be the message that we would get from the mums. It's like, oh, I feel seen.
Yeah.
I feel heard. This is, wow, I didn't realize it wasn't just me. I thought it was just me. And it's amazing because I said, we've done this for 8 years. We've had, over 150 events, and listening to the speakers, there's always this kind of thread, and I suppose it is, again, the thread of matrescence and this massive transition that happens to women in all the different areas. And having each speaker touch on those different areas, whether it be the physical, the mental, the career, the the hormonal, the economical, each speaker is talking about a different stage of your matrescence.
Yes.
And it's just, so it's standard for all the mums. And, we hear because I remember when we started out, people would say, oh, what's the theme of this month's talk? And we started off like, oh, the theme of this month is joy. The theme is love. The theme is kind of just trying to think of a theme because we felt from a marketing point of view that worked well. But then we were actually like, the theme is mothers. It's mothers.
Yeah.
It's motherhood. It's mothering. And now I know it's matrescence. So it's that was the common thread and the commonality between everybody in the room. And inevitably it gets emotional. And we'd say to the speakers would get emotional, particularly the mums kind of coming to talk about their experience of motherhood, because there's just something so incredible when you bring women together. And it's just, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps now, like that feeling of support and solidarity and understanding. It's like, you don't even have to say anything. I remember one time we actually had Claire Tonti, the singer. She was over and she spoke at one of our events and she sang, and it was incredible. And at the end of the talks, we said, does anybody have any questions? And one of mum put up her hand, she took the mic, and she just went, and she burst into tears.
Oh.
And everybody burst into tears. Like, she didn't even have to. Everybody knew exactly what she was feeling, and we all held her there. We were all there for her because we all needed to be held ourselves. And it's just, that is just incredible. And for the feedback we get after the events from mums who they just feel less alone. And and also I think it empowers them to go home, and when the husband comes in or the partner comes in and says, how was your day? They go, I'm going to tell you how my day was, because they know they can do that, and it's okay to do that, and it's there's no shame. And I suppose that's from myself and Cara's point of view. Like, when we started Mum Talks, we just didn't want other mums to wait 5 or 7 years before they started talking about their experience of motherhood and holding that in and not sharing.
Yes, I have seen that over and over and again, that just that cracking open of a mama when she's found a space and she's finally heard elements of her own story in a speaker or in Claire's beautiful music. As you know, Claire and I and a phenomenal filmmaker, Libby Chow, are making a documentary about matrescence and have been traveling around the world filming and asking this question of what can we do better if we understood what matrescence was. And one of the key messages of the film, and one of the key insights that's coming, is the power of gathering women. That in our, I hate to say it, patriarchal way, we have built a culture of isolation and silence around the experience of becoming a mother. And what you're doing, Lucy, what you've been doing with your beautiful best friend over the last 8 years is a revolutionary act. Like, it is an activism. It is to break down those barriers of silence and shame and isolation by bringing women together and having different speakers and different experiences and showing the different ways that we change. I mean, that is a revolutionary act. So I just really want to take a moment and celebrate that in you. What you've done is incredible, because I also know over the last 8 years we've had COVID, you've had another baby, you have built a business that has run over 150 events, and that is not an easy feat at all. So would you like to share with everybody what it's been like personally to be
Mm.
doing this as you also heal your own red thread and experience of motherhood?
Mm. It is. It's been an incredible journey, and one that I feel so fortunate to have been on, because thank you so much for your kind words, but I think we're probably definitely accidental activists.
Oh,
um,
bring it on.
I think if we had perhaps set out to be activists, we'd be like, no, we're not good enough for that. And also kind of the entrepreneur side of it as well is something that we never really kind of, I suppose, thought about too much, because that was a little bit daunting as well, coming from um, working for, for companies. So there has been challenges, and because we are trying to also run a business alongside, helping mamas and trying to find that balance. And as you said, while also looking after the children. And it's and COVID was really interesting for us, because when COVID hit, we were really starting to go for it with our events. And for us, sponsorship would be quite an important part of it, from the business side of things, so we can keep going and keep running these events. And that was really starting to take off. And then COVID hit, and we were like, oh gosh, because also big part of our business is face to face. Like, we want to bring moms into a room together. We feel like, sitting down, that connection is so important. And so we were like, oh gosh, what are we going to do? But actually, within 2 weeks of lockdown, we were on Zoom. We were like, we've got to figure this out. We've got to get mums. We still need an outlet. And we were so conscious of all these mums having their new babies, and we were like, no, we've got to do something here. So actually, that's where our baby club was born. So alongside our in-person events now, we also run online events for mums with really, really little newborns who want to just kind of stay at home in bed on the couch. And we have the baby experts there. So we have a sleep expert and a first aid, weaning, and feeding, and then also, but then we also obviously have the minding mom expert as well, talking about that. So that was lovely that grew from kind of COVID. So we kind of took advantage of that. But it's been it's been a really interesting journey, because particularly with doing the Mama Rising course, and I did that just after COVID. That was so reaffirming to what Mum Talks was all about, because like I said, like, we knew what we were doing was important, because we had both felt that way, and then when we brought the mums together, we had that feeling. But actually, to be able to put a word on it and to explain to ourselves and to other people why it was so important was massive. But also from a personal journey, it was really, really big, because I said I hadn't addressed those kind of feelings that I'd had when I'd first become a mum, that inner mean mama, that was still, and it's probably still there today, but at least I'm aware of it, and I can kind of tell it to be quiet. So it's been a challenge, but it's been great. It's been great, and now we just want to get bigger and better. And we started off in Dublin, and we are now in 10 counties around the country. So 10 out of the 32 counties of Ireland, we are now running events in, and we have ambassadors who are running them for us. Yeah, these amazing women. Because initially we were like, but are they going to do it like we do it? Like, are they going to, are they going to be? But these women are just amazing, and they tend to maybe also have like another business going on where they're kind of supporting mums, so reflexology or baby massage or whatever. So they're kind of in that network, or they're kind of a mum on an extended career break, and they want to bring mums together. So that's how we're kind of going to grow Mum Talks, because we did reach a point where we were getting messages from mums all around the country going, please, can you have a Mum Talks in Carlow and Cavan and Wexford? And then we also had a lot of mums contact us, I'd love to run an event for you in the different counties. So we've set up kind of a franchise kind of model at the moment. Wow. Where we sell a 6-month franchise, and the mum gets the ambassador, they keep all the ticket revenue, and we will support them through marketing and through all the tickets go through our website and with our Instagram, and we have our monthly chats, and we have our first get together. Next week we're having a Christmas party, so a few of the mums we haven't even met, so we're all meeting in Dublin next week to celebrate this new part of Mum Talks. And it's really exciting. And yeah, we are very proud of that, I have to say. And it actually almost feels like a new business, because it's a new concept for us. So, and these ambassadors are being incredible and bringing a new lease of life into Mum Talks, and new insights and new ideas. And
So what a
it's
beautiful
really
feminine business model that these ambassadors have been gifted through you, is that, you know, you get to keep the ticket sales. This is your own business run through us, supported through us. Therefore, it's really this paying it forward and empowering others business model, which again, I see so many mothers and women championing that, to really do this differently. It's not about top down, it's about equal, and it's about the movement, it's about the activism. You said that you're an accidental activist, which I actually love. I think that now needs to be a new hashtag. But it sounds like you're almost also like an accidental entrepreneur, because once again, you've just gone where you needed to go, responded to what mums have asked for, and now are having a Christmas party for your. Listen,
there's going to be 10 of us. It's just so exciting. Usually just me and Cara going, cheers to another year. But we're going all out.
oh, please. I want to see a photo of that Christmas party when it happens. It's so incredible. I think you better get ready, because you might hear from people around the world now after this podcast to be ambassadors for Mum Talks everywhere. Thank
I love
you.
that.
Thank you for your just incredible energy around this, your beautiful vulnerability in our conversation and what you are doing. It's so empowering and inspiring to see and to know the ripple effects that you're going to be having with these ambassadors. And then those mums will tell other mums, and it just goes on and on and on. It just ripples out. And this is how we change the experience of motherhood. So thank you, beautiful.
Thank you. And thank you so much for being a massive part of this Mum Talks journey. As I said, you know, there's been times where we've thought, oh God, can we keep going? But then doing your course just made me go, yes, we can keep going. And this is the reasons why we have to keep going. And, you know, it's been so inspiring. So thank you for all the work that you've been doing for all the mamas.
Thank you. I will pop all the details in the show notes about Mum Talks, especially if you're in Ireland, where they are, what counties it is in, and how you can join, and follow along on Instagram as well with what you're doing. Thanks, beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks, as always, for being a part of our global Matrescence community. Please take a moment and make sure you're subscribed to this podcast in your podcast player, so you can always be notified of our next episode. And if you would like to work with a coach on your own experience of matrescence, please go to mummarising.net and explore our directory of phenomenal coaches, workshop leaders, space holders and facilitators around the globe. You can also explore our Global Matrescence Foundation and consider donating so a mama in need can access the support of one of our coaches and still ensure that our coaches receive the income and support they need so they can continue to work in this way. And finally, if you would like to be a coach, a facilitator and a matrescence activist in your own community, jump on our waitlist for our next intake of the Mama Rising Facilitator training at mummarising.net. Thank you for being here and being part of this movement. Until next week, bye.